Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Voice of the People TV. I am Amina Ojelabi. Before we begin the news, kindly visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. First, the headlines. Tinubu promises to take back forests, fight terrorists with tech. A rep summoned Benue, Zamfara governors' assemblies. AFCC probes former NNPLC, GMD Kiari, others. And of course, World Press Freedom Day, journalists in Rivers decry external influence. On the foreign scene, former junta leader Oligui sworn in as Gabon's new president. And in business, CBN record 498.2 billion naira losses in 2024. And Sport West from Bill Lyden Town. Entertainment Burna Boy releases Sweet Love ahead of 8th album. Now's the news in detail. President Bola Tinubu says his administration is committed to reclaiming ungoverned areas, particularly forests in the northwest and across Nigeria, deploying advanced surveillance and technology to combat kidnapping, banditry, and terrorism. Tinubu gave this assurance when he addressed the Katsina elders and leaders at a state dinner held at the government house on Friday night. The president's special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Ononuga, revealed details of Friday's engagement in a statement released on Saturday. Nigeria's northwest has seen a hail of terror activities in the past decade. On UNIDA's survey of 2,947 residents found that bandit attacks jumped from 731% between 2018 and 2022, leaving 8,300 people dead and 9,527 abducted between 2019 and 2021, amounting to 62% of all kidnappings across Nigeria. The National Bureau of Statistics capital importation data shows that Katsina drew zero foreign direct investment in the first 9 months of 2024, placing it among 34 states that received no new capital, while neighboring Kaduna was the north recipient. Tallies showed 2 factory closures in Katsina between 2020 and 2024. In the meantime, the House of Representatives Committee on Public Petitions has summoned Governors Hayasif Alia and Dauda Lawal of Benue and Zamfara State, respectively, as well as the respective state assemblies to appear before it on Thursday, May 8. The summon was in connection to the rise in insecurity in the state, which prompted a civil rights organizations, guardians of democracy and rule of law to petition the Green Chamber. The executive and legislative arms of the 2 states are to appear before the committee to explain why their constitutional functions should not be taken over by the House of Representatives because of insecurity. The summons was contained in a statement issued by the head of media, House Committee on Public Petitions, Chuks Oko, on Friday. The statement said the summons is sequel to a petition written by civil rights organizations, guardians of democracy and rule of law, urging the House to take over the functions of the 2 House of Assembly. In another development, operatives of Nigerian Army under Hardin Kai were engaged in a fierce gunfight with fighters of the Islamic State's West Africa province following an attack on the town of Bonegari in Yobe State. The details of the battle was made known via the agency's X, formerly Twitter handle, on Saturday. The short statement read, "Troops in Operation Hardin Kai currently in a fierce battle against ISWAP attack at Bonegari, Yobe State." The attack comes less than 48 hours after the Northeast Governors held its 11th forum meeting in Damaturu, the Yobe State capital. The insurgents had in the last few weeks attacked military formations, destroyed cells covered along Goniri Road, as well as abducted individuals. In handling their ATM cards, as cyber criminals are now using just the details on the cards to empty victims' bank account. The police want the fraudsters now exploit basic card details such as the card number, expiry date, and CVV to make unauthorized transactions. According to the police, even without physical access to the card or the victim's phones, criminals can initiate swift repeated debit. The advisory was shared by the State Police Public Relations Officer SP Bright Edafe in a post on his official X handle on Saturday. The police therefore advised Nigerians to stop handing over their cards to others, avoid sharing images of their cards online or through messaging apps, and regularly monitor their bank statement for suspicious activity. Now, this report says no fewer than 14 officials of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, including two former chief executives, Mele Kyari and Abubakar Yaradua, are currently under investigation by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, over alleged misappropriation of funds and abuse of office. This was revealed in a letter addressed to the NNPCL. In the letter dated April 8, 2025 and addressed to the Group Managing Director of NNPCL, the EFCC requested a certified true copy of the emolument and allowances of the affected persons, both former and current employees. In addition to the former Group Chief Executive Officer Mele Kyari, other affected persons listed by the EFCC include Ibrahim Onoja, Mustafa Magaji Sogun, Abubakar Lawal Yaradua, Isiaka Abdurazak, among others. Also listed are Kayode Olusegun Adetokunbo, Efiok Michael Akman, Jimo Olasukomi, Bello Kankaya, and Desmond Iyama. The investigation is linked to the funds allocated for rehabilitating the Port Harcourt Refinery Company Limited, Warri Refinery and Petrochemical Company, and Kaduna Refining and Petrochemical Company. EFCC spokesperson Dele Oyewale confirmed in a media chat that a probe is ongoing, but he, however, did not give further details of the investigation. Another development, it's the occasion of World Press Freedom Day today. Journalists in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, have expressed concerns over rising cases of interference from both the private and public individuals in the work of journalists. A female journalist, Anita Ogona, while speaking on her experiences on the job, stated that there is nothing to celebrate as press freedom is so far from becoming a reality. She stated that journalists are constantly threatened for doing their jobs, and in some cases, journalists are unjustly sacked by the media platform as a result of external influence. Also speaking, two journalists who were recently brutalized by men of the Nigerian police force, Femi Ogunkilide and Soibi Oluwari, said their experience has made the concept of press freedom a task that may never be accomplished. Meanwhile, the chairman, Nigerian Union of Journalists, Rivers State Council, Paul Bezia, suggested more stakeholder engagement to address the concerns. World Press Freedom Day is a United Nations annual observance which celebrates the fundamental principles of press freedom, defend the media from attacks of their independence, and to pay tribute to journalists who have lost their lives in the exercise of the profession. Meanwhile, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has reaffirmed the federal government's dedication to upholding press freedom in the face of growing challenges posed by artificial intelligence. Mohammed made this known on Saturday as the world marks World Press Freedom Day. Speaking on the theme reporting in the Brave New World, the impact of artificial intelligence on press freedom and the media, the minister acknowledged the essential role of the media in a digital age and called for unity among government, journalists, and civil society to defend the principles of free expression. Away from that report, the Anambra State government has said that there will be slight adjustment to traffic flow and commuter schedules ahead of President Bola Tinubu's visit to the state on Thursday, May 8. The announcement is contained in a statement signed by the State Commissioner for Information, Law, Mefor, urged in the Anambra to cooperate with security agencies and other relevant authorities in the state in the build-up to the president's historic visit. Mefor urged in the Anambra to cooperate with security agencies and other relevant authorities in the state in the build-up to the president's historic visit. He urged the people to show understanding, cooperation, and support in ensuring a hitch-free and memorable visit by the president. Moving on the news, former President Olusegun Obasanjo's immediate past Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, were among the dignitaries who bade farewell to the late Afenifere leader, Pa Ayo Adebanjo. Adebanjo was buried on Saturday at Isoya Ogbo in Odogbolu local government area of Ogun State. The governor of Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, and his counterparts from Lagos and Oyo State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu and Seyi Makinde, were also among those at the event. A lawyer, politician, and statesman, Adebanjo was one of the last surviving associates of the late sage, Chief Obafemi Awolowo. He died in Lagos on February 14, 2025, at the age of 96. And as tribute to the late elder statesman during the funeral service held at St. Philip Anglican Church, Isoya Ogbo, in his hometown, Governor Abiodun described Adebanjo as a titan of integrity and justice and a staunch fighter for true federalism who always wanted the best for Nigeria. Other dignitaries at the event include former governors of Ogun State, Otunba Gbenga Daniel, and Senator Ibukunle Amosun, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Yemi Cardoso, former deputy governor of Ogun State, Senator Adegbenga Kaka, and Chief Ayo Opadogun, among others. In the meantime, the Student Union Government of Federal University, Oye Ekiti, has dismissed the allegations leveled by the National Association of Nigerian Student President Olushola Oladoja against the institution's Vice-Chancellor, Professor Abayomi Fashina, and the Governing Council. Four-year SUG President Olorunshola Abiodun and Secretary General Ife Lateef, in a letter to the Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, dated Saturday, this associated student of the institution from the petition submitted to him by the NANS president. The NANS president had in the petition titled Petition on the Crisis at Oye dated May 2, alleged cover-ups of official misconduct and other alleged misconduct against Oye management and governing council. NANS had urged the minister to remove Oye VC and the governing council chairman, Senator Victor Udoma, and as well as reconstitute an independent, non-partisan panel to revisit all allegations against the VC and make recommendations within 72 hours. But Abiodun and Lateef, in a formal disclaimer and refutation of the NANS petition against the VC and Governing Council of Foye, described the NANS president's allegations and claims as misrepresentations of fact. According to them, the NANS claim constitute a move targeted at undermining Foye's leadership and institutional integrity. And now, coming up on the world news, African head of state arrived for the inauguration ceremony at a stadium north of the capital, Libreville, while supporters decked out in T-shirts and flag bearing Oligwe's likeness packed out of 40,000 capacity venue. Also, Labour's Anthony Albanese has defied the so-called incumbency curse to be re-elected Australia's Prime Minister in a landslide. Official vote counting won't finish for days, but Albanese's centre-left government would dramatically increase its majority after the Conservative Liberal National Coalition suffered a thumping defeat nationwide. Today, the Australian people have voted for Australian values for fairness, aspiration and opportunity for all, or for the strength to show courage in adversity and kindness to those in need, the Albanese said. Now, coalition leader Peter Dutton, who lost his own seat of 24 years, said he accepted full responsibility for his party's loss and apologized to his MPs. In the meantime, Chinese and Italian tourists were reportedly among 7 killed in a collision between a tour bus and a truck near Yellowstone National Park on Thursday. 8 others were injured when a Chevy pickup truck and a Mercedes passenger van carrying 14 sightseers crashed on a highway in eastern Idaho, said by U.S. police. Both vehicles caught fire. 5 Chinese tourists died in the Mercedes van, according to Chinese state media. But a local coroner said 2 Italian tourists also died, along with a Texas resident who was driving with a Chevy pickup, which would mount to 8 fatalities. Police are still investigating the cause. The route where the crash took place leads into the park, which is now entering peak tourist season. And now we move to business news, where the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, recorded a historic 498.2 billion naira loss in 2024, driven primarily by a 9.4 trillion naira foreign exchange revaluation loss, its most significant financial setback in recent memory. The revaluation loss, which reflects the cost of settling foreign denominated liabilities at weaker exchange rates, effectively erased the gains from the bank's interest and fee-based operations. In stark contrast, the CBN posted an FX gain of 1.2 trillion naira in 2023, highlighting the scale of deterioration in the country's exchange rate environment. The Apex Bank's 2024 audited financial statement shows that although it earned 2.87 trillion naira in interest income and 1.39 trillion naira in fees and commissions, these inflows were overwhelmed by the FX loss and the rise in interest expense burden, which nearly tripled to 1.39 trillion naira from 498 billion naira in the prior year. The surge in interest costs is linked to the CBN's tightening cycle, which stood at 27.5% after raising key interest rate by a combined 875 basis points as it ramped up OMO issuances to tame excess liquidity and combat inflation. Now we move to sport, where Luton Town fans watched in anguish as their team was defeated 5-3 at West Bromwich Albion, which means relegation is confirmed for the 2nd season in a row. The haters had needed a win to guarantee their championship survival, but were instead beaten at the Hawthorns to fall into the third tier only a year after they dropped out at the Premier League. A last-minute goal against Coventry a week ago had lifted Luton out of the drop zone, and with one game remaining, fans were hoping for a bit of luck. Sadly, it was not to be, and the supporters in the town have mixed feelings. Now, Bayer Leverkusen striker Victor Boniface has emerged as one of the alternatives Juventus can consider should their pursuit of Victor Osimhen fail to materialize. Sport Extra report. Juventus are looking to revamp their attacking department in the summer transfer window. The Dusan Vlahovic and Randal Kolo Muani both in line to leave at the end of the 2024-2025 season. Number of clubs in Europe and Asia pushing for a signature. Juventus may need to look elsewhere. Meanwhile, Osimhen, currently on loan at Galatasaray from Napoli, is a first-choice centre-forward for the old lady, but given his 75 million price tag and the fact that there are a number of clubs in Europe rather and Asia pushing for a signature, Juventus may need to look elsewhere. And now on entertainment, Grammy-winning singer Burna Boy has released a new single, Sweet Love, ahead of his highly anticipated 8th studio album, No Sign of Weakness. The reggae-learning track showcases Burna's vocal charisma and signature blend of global influences with melodic pop sensibility. Sweet Love follows the success of the album's first single, Update, which blended Afrobeat with anthemic energy and sampled soul to soul's iconic Back to Life. Now, Grammy-nominated singer Davido has shared the emotional journey he's undergone since the loss of his son, Ifeanyi, who passed away in a drowning incident at the singer's Banana Island home in Lagos, November 2022. Almost a year later, Davido and his wife Chioma welcomed twin, a boy and a girl. The singer, in a chat with Apple Music, revealed that the resemblance between the late son and the newborn is scary, adding that it is as a result that Ifeanyi had come back. The loss of his son Ifeanyi significantly impacted Davido, but he said he has since found solace in family and music. He credits his marriage to Chioma and the success of his 2023 album Timeless to God's Intervention, which has strengthened his faith. Davido also believes the painful experience has transformed him into someone who encourages and inspires others facing hardship. And that's it on the News Hour. Before we go, let's take a quick look at the headlines. At first, Tinubu promises to take back forests, fight terrorists with tech. Reps summon Benue, Zamfara governors' assemblies. And EFCC probes former NNPCL, GMD, Kyari, and others. And of course, World Press Freedom Day today, which is celebrated worldwide. Journalists in Rivers decry external influence. And a foreign saying former junta leader Oligui sworn in as Gabon's new president. And in business, CBN records 498.2 billion losses in 2024. And we took a look at sport, where West Brom beat Luton Town. And entertainment, Burna Boy releases Sweet Love ahead of 8th album. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel on YouTube. We are Voice of the People TV, and on other social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. I am Amina Ojelabi. Good evening.